welcome to Ignite. I don't know if you guys have been. All right, here we go. Thank you. Zoom has been weird this week. I don't know what's going on. If you guys have been experiencing it all, we certainly have here up in New England for some reason. I don't know. So bear with us a bit. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit. Welcome to Win the Sellers for sure. My name is Deb Hayes. I'm with Keller Williams, Merrimack Valley up in Westford, 614. I've been in real estate about 30 years. I came to Keller Williams about 10 years ago, and I moved into the productivity coaching position about 5 years ago, and it's cranking. We're doing well, and it's been a great experience. My co-host here is Roger Ring. I always come Roger King, but that's the way that is. So Roger, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I've been part of the.
Roger, do you want to talk a little bit about yourself?
So I am.
Oh.
What do we got? No sound.
I'm hearing you, Roger.
Hey, Roger.
Okay.
Yep, we're hearing you.
I don't know, maybe Deb.
Yeah, you're on now.
Okay. So I'm at the 868
You're
Market Center here in Plainville. I've been selling real estate for just about 17 years. I've been doing the participating with the coaching program at the Market Center for about 2.5 years now. And I love it, love helping you guys out, love helping you learn. Understandable that if anybody's feeling a little overwhelmed or inundated with information, that's normal. So, just embrace that and just break it down piece by piece. And of course, revisit Ignite later on. The region will be running this quarterly, so you'll have an opportunity to kind of go through it and get a refresher after you learn how to apply some of the stuff, and then go in and just repeat and rinse. It's over and over again. So any questions, feel free to open up your mics and just kind of ask it if you will. If you're stuck on something, you don't understand something, this is a participative thing. Deb loves the questions, and we'll take it from there. And there's no such thing as a dumb question.
Absolutely. If you're thinking it, probably at least half gets bad when we always have you jump on my computer. If your connection gets bad, we can always have you jump on my computer. There we go. So Colleen, do you have okay. Colleen, you want to give us tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, everybody. So sorry that my camera's not working, but I am here. I am Colleen. I've been selling real estate for 3 years. I work with Roger Ring at the Keller Williams Elite Plainville Market Center. We are both PC coaches there, and I'm going to be monitoring your chat today. So if you have any questions or you have any ahas and you're putting them in there, I'm going to do my best to relay them to Deb and Roger.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, welcome everybody. And I don't know if you guys noticed the pattern that how we introduce ourselves. I don't know about Roger and Colleen, but a lot of that comes from something called Train the Trainer, and how you interact with people. So if you ever have an opportunity to go to that Train the Trainer class, it's very, very good when we all are in the position of having to speak to people. So just a little thought on that. So hopefully it'll be awesome. It'll work, and no problems with Zoom today, right? All right. So, here we are at Ignite. So first thing we're going to do here, today we're going to cover Win the Seller as part of the transaction. We all know that working with sellers are really, the best, and we need to understand why, So we're going to go, this is the agenda a little bit today. We're going to identify a qualified A seller and follow up with an appointment. Apply approaches to request an appointment from an A seller, and apply the pre-listing criteria to build the seller's confidence and demonstrate, your expertise in handling buyer objections to win business, because you're working with sellers, but obviously you'll have to understand the buyer's perspective of things as well. So, I'd like you guys to start thinking a little bit about what you want to learn today. What's the most important thing you want to learn from this from this class today? Let's talk about that for a few minutes. What do you want to learn? See if I can do this here. So let's just shout out a little bit. What questions do you have that you want to make sure that you walk away at the end of the day knowing? Let's have some, raise your hand, shout it out. Let's participate.
I have a quick question.
Yes, Kelly.
I would like to know what goes in a good listing packet. Like what creates a great listing packet?
All right, we'll go through that. We're going to talk about pre-listing packages and then the listing package. What other questions? Thank you. Just dropped the check up. Oh, damn. What do we got? What else? What are we going to walk away with today?
Hi, good morning. I would say maybe just some ideas on getting that confidence that despite the fact we've only been in for whatever, a month, 3 months, 6 months or so, we've got a team of experts, like that kind of thing. How do you exude more confidence than maybe you really have?
Right. So first of all, you are going to have confidence because you guys are real estate agents. You went through the course, you know what you're doing, you're in training, you're gonna be fine. That's the first thing I'm gonna teach everybody. You're fine. You can do it. It doesn't matter if you've been in a week or 35 years. This is what we're going to teach you today. Models and plans and systems that are going to get you where you want to go. So thank you for that. That's what I want to know. Creating or obtaining a good life, right? The better prepared you are, the better things are going to be for you, right? So while leads are vital to your sales business, seller listings are critical to your ability to build it to its highest level with the lowest cost and highest net. So that's kind of interesting. So in the last session, right, you guys were talking about moving those A buyers to being your buyers with the signed list buyer agreement, correct? Is that what you guys have been working on a lot this week? Right. So today you're going to do the same thing for sellers. So we're going to talk about what is an A seller, right? What's an A seller in everyone's opinion?
Could be somebody who already found another piece of property and they want to get moving out of where they are. Yeah,
exactly. They are able, ready, and willing to do business in the next 14 days. That's the official thing of what a qualified seller is, one who is able, ready, and willing to do business in the next 14 days. That means that they're financially able to complete the transaction now, are ready and motivated to make strategic decisions now, and are willing to act now. That motivation is something we'll be talking about, because motivation is, like anything, a strong indicator of if they're A-ness, right? So our goal for all of our seller leads is to get an appointment, right? So we can get the listing agreement and sell the house. However, listings give us a lot of additional benefits as well, right? So, and we will be talking about that. If you intend to capture the mind share of A sellers, you need to be following up with them constantly, daily. You want to make sure your goal is going to be to get an appointment, right? So let's talk about this. You guys have seen this, right? All of our clients are amazing. We're, grateful for them for choosing us. Therefore, we need to give them our best work and efforts, of course. Sellers are special because they bring us listings. We've discussed this before. The basics of a great real estate business are leads, listings, and leverage. Have we seen this triangle since day one, pretty much? Right? We love listings because they bring us not just a commission, right? That's always great, but it gives us the ability to build a relationship for repeat and referral business. You know, you do hear a lot with particularly agents who've been around. Oh, I sold them their house before, or I got this lead from somebody that I sold them a house. And this is what you want to do. That's more important than your commission. If you can absorb that and understand that. It's the ability to build a relationship for repeat and referral business, which will happen much quicker than I think you guys are thinking. Listings bring us the best marketing opportunity, of course. And, it also, listings give us much more control over our time. Buyers can, they take time sometimes in listings, certainly, timing wise, it can be much more efficient for sure. So let's see. Virtues of the seller listings. Okay. We talked about this a little bit. This is right straight out of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. I'm hoping you guys are all reading that at some point. So seller listings mean marketing opportunities, right? You have your face on a sign out front. You have your face on your Facebook post. All of that is for you. Yes, of course, our fiduciary goal is to sell the home, but we want to make sure, in the meantime, we're doing some great marketing for ourselves. Definitely, number 2, you have more control of your time. Listings maximize your per hour compensation. Volume. The more listings you have, just the more you get. With seller listings, you're on the front end of pricing, which can be very good because you have to be extremely clean with your pricing strategies and understand how much a house is for. That's really a huge piece of our business. We're not Zillow. We have to understand the value of homes, and being a listing agent really puts you in the front of that because you're constantly looking at prices, whether they're going up or going down. And with this last market that we were in, it was really interesting to try to keep up with all of those things, right? And properly marketing listings bring you more business. What else is great about sellers listings? Go off this for a minute. I'm going to you guys think. What else is kind of interesting about sellers listings we don't often think about? What do sellers bring? No, what do listings bring?
A chance to other agents to sell the property.
Yeah. So say that again, Roland. Was it Roland? Who was that?
Yes.
People are having audio trouble. Go ahead. Say that one more time.
Allow other people to sell your property. Other agents.
Yes. Buyer agents. Yeah. Other agents are running around with buyers. It's a chance to meet more potential clients. Absolutely. That's from Dawn Brown. The chance to meet other clients, other potential business. What else do listings bring?
We have some comments in the chat. You're breaking up with your audio, so we're kind of getting on and off.
What else do listings bring? Yeah. My audio is breaking up, or?
Yes, your audio is breaking up.
I have a question. Are you also the KW New England?
Is it my audio breaking up? Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
And video.
Are you both KW New England with the background as well?
I think it's when her video is on, it causes a delay in the audio.
No, Oh, boy.
Oh, hang on.
Let's see. Because I know when you're sharing your screen, you sound fine. 'Cause it like shuts your video off.
All right. So maybe I can have my video on.
I think it's on your
Is this
end.
better,
Yesterday
guys?
we have the same problem. You guys were cutting off.
All right, then I'll just leave video off here. It's so what else do yeah, it's been a problem all week with Zoom, unfortunately. So let's talk about listings. What is the thing that they bring also?
Well,
They
somebody
bring
said you might have
buyers
some
Open houses.
who have houses to sell, you know? So that's I'm going to screen share. See if that, Ashley, let me know if this is better.
Okay, I will.
We're just going to have to move forward here. Yeah. So, all right. So we know they bring, you know, you have opportunity to do open houses, and those open houses can be neighbors, people coming, and they're going to have buyers that might want the property. You have, you're going to meet neighbors that might want to sell, maybe in a year, maybe 5 years. It's an opportunity to grow your business. Everybody in agreement on that?
Yep.
Okay. So let's talk about the, let's look at the 7-step seller service cycle. You know, we've talked about a lot of models. This is another model that's, you know, proven to reap success with sellers. This success comes in any market with any seller. So, you know, you've got this little circle chart thing here.
Excuse me, Deb, you're on the
yeah.
ahas. You might have to go back one.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. There you go. Perfect.
Okay. So you've got the circle. Okay. So we've got lead conversions, lead generating, and follow-up. We've got, this is the cycle: lead conversion, lead generating, and lead follow-up constantly. You've got your pre-listing to transaction, you know, which is important in today's market, listing consultations, transaction, right? Servicing and marketing, right? Working with buyers and sellers, offers to negotiations, and then contract to close. And then the more important that a lot of people this is where people drop the ball a little bit, where they don't have post-closing systems, right? That's when your business, all of these 7 steps are when you're going to get more business. The better you convert your leads, the more prepared you are in the pre-listing, the confidence that you bring to the listing consultation, the service and the marketing that you're doing, you know, really, truly you're negotiating and, you know, working the offer and negotiating. And you know, the real estate agent is the person that is supposed to take the stress level, you know, off of, you know, the stress level off the seller. And that's what we're trying to do here, right? So let's talk about ahas. We're going to be putting you guys in some breakout rooms, but for now, let's hear some ahas from people. What are we thinking about sellers? Let's get into this a little. Do we have any ahas? Maybe pop it in the chat.
Well, I think we want to be prepared. The big thing is being prepared for that initial meeting with the seller. You know, letting them know that we have a handle on the market, pricing, and stuff like that. You know, and yesterday's stuff with the buyers, they went through a lot, like a whole list of stuff we need to do for the initial consultation. I thought that was helpful.
Yeah, good. Okay, let's keep moving then. So get the appointment. We want to make sure that we're going to be getting the appointment. You know, ahas, knowing what we're doing is really a good insight, you know, and, you know, we'll get moving on that. So let's talk about how to convert those A sellers to a listing appointment where you can win this listing, right? What's the key things we want to be doing when we stumble across an A seller? Number 1, right? We want to respond right away to any leads. We want to get valid and complete contact information, you know, put it in command and create your opportunity. Determine their motivation. We talked about motivation before, so we, to sell, so you can speak to it. That's always a very important piece, because sometimes in in the process of selling someone's home, they lose sight of their motivation and get in the weeds, so to speak, on other issues. And then we want to set the appointment time and date as soon as possible and send a pre-listing packet. Has anyone here used the pre-listing package?
So I do, Deb.
Oh, that's nice. And do you have, how big is it? Is it off of a design, or is this something you've sort of had?
So it's off of, part of it's off of design, part of it's a little customized, and basically it's more or less an introduction letter. You know, a little bit of my value propositions in there. It's not big, you know, it's about, you know, a half a dozen to 12 pages, no more, no less. And it's more or less just, and it's also giving them some information of what they should expect when we get there as well.
Oh, okay, good. And I think we're going to get to that. So, you know, what sellers want most from their agent is, and this is out of 2021 from National Association of Realtors, 21% of them, and I think that 27 should be added in here, they want to help pricing the home. You know, they have an idea what it's worth, but, you know, they're never 100% confident in that. They want to know, you know, right? They want to help sell the homes to potential buyers. They also are very specific in a certain time frame, and they also want advice on if, in why, and how, and is it necessary to fix up the home? You know, is that a big piece of it, right? So what we're going to be working on here is, you know, building confidence and trust. So as you talk to the seller, you get your appointment, and remember that these conversations lay the foundation for your working relationship. Your first goal in connecting is to build confidence and trust. Like, you know, we say, you should do that by exuding confidence in yourself and showing attentive professionalism by asking a lot of questions. A seller consultation is not about you, it's about the sellers, right? So your focus driving this process is not to sell anything. It's to provide value, meet their real estate needs, and secure the appointment. They intend to experience what it's like to work with an agent who asks questions, listens, and cares. So, you know, this is a little bit of a balance, right? You want to show them what you know and see why they, you know, and you want them to see why they should be confident in you, while not overtaking the conversation by asking too few questions and not showing enough care about the answers, right? That's a tricky one, you know? So we have 7 close. We got to get these appointments first before we, you know, be prepared with a bunch of stuff. So we have to show the benefits. These are some tactics. There's 7 of them. And I don't know if this was part of the buyer class, but you want to show the benefits of your, you know, show your value proposition. You have a take back close, the negative positive close, give them what they're looking for close, a trial close, assumptive close, and tie downs. Anybody know what the assumptive close is? We're talking about getting an appointment with a listing, with a seller.
I would assume it just means having the confidence that you're going to be the one that's going to close this deal for them, and projecting that at the client or potential client.
Yep. Thank you for that. I can't see who it is, but thank you for that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's most agents. You have to kind of almost lead with that one. Yep. I'll be over Thursday, or what's good for you guys? Thursday, Saturday morning. I've got a couple of times available. Just assume you're going, assume you're doing the listing, bring all your paperwork with you. And anybody know, I mean, we know show the benefits. What does give them what they're looking for mean? I don't know if anybody's putting anything in chat.
Give them what they want. Like you're supposed to be helping them, right?
Yep, give them what they're looking for. So, yep, whatever they want, you're going to do. Is that it? You think?
So, Deb, this is Roger.
Whatever they want, but
go ahead.
All right, Roger, what do you think?
So, I think what also it alludes to is give them what they're looking for. Is when you ask good open-ended questions of them, you know, what are your expectations of your realtor? What are your expectations of price, if you will. What are your expectations and what are you willing to do with respects to staging? These are all just open-ended questions, and you're getting their temperature of what they're looking for. And certainly, so what are you looking for out of your agent? What are you looking for?
Right.
Yeah. This whole consultation, this meeting, and then allow the opportunity for them to answer and then probe every time a little bit. Tell me more about that.
Right.
That's interesting to me. I'm curious.
The famous follow-up question. Always ask a lot of questions that just have answers, and that's can be very helpful. It's the same close to appointment tactics that we use with buyers, right? So so we talked a little bit about questions versus objections. When a question is asked, answer it. When an objection comes up, just simply handle it, right? People get a little nervous about, some of these things. Like if a client says, what is your commission? You say, my commission 6%. And you can say my commission is 6% and we offer the buyer agent 3%. That's it. You answered the question, and what if they ask if you would do it for less? That's a yes or no question. I would just say no and see where you go from there, right? If they persist and they ask what's stopping them from hiring you today, when you ask, they might say another agent said they'll do it for 4%, right? We'll list my house for 4%. And you can respond. So what I'm hearing you saying is commission you pay is important to you. I'm happy you brought that up. Let's talk about that further, right? Also, what you'd like, Roger, do you put commission information and chart and fees and that in your pre-listing package?
I don't, because I don't want to, I don't want them to respond or react to that. I save that for the more or less the end when I show them their net sheet, and that's an opportunity for them to come up and object.
I see. So that's where you bring it up during the net sheet conversation. Yep. All right, interesting. What does everybody think about that? Let's see if we can move along. Let's talk.
I try to be 100% honest with my clients. And then like, if they're like, well, what's your fee? And I'm like, well, it's 7%, but that 7% isn't all of my money. That 7% is being split up in different ways. And I try to explain that to them. So at the end of the day, we charge 7%, but I'm not making 7%. I'm making X. Right.
So what else? That's a very, very good point. A lot of the consumer does think that we walk away with all this money and it's just gravy. And again, it does speak back to your value proposition and your marketing and your staging and your photography and your time. And let's face it, we have to pay a co-broke. What other ahas do we have? Talk about that a little bit more.
I liked when you said about like, if there's an objection, just handle it. And if there's a question, answer it. Because I feel like sometimes when you're new, you're sort of like, oh my gosh, they asked me a question. I need to have like 5 minutes of something to like explain what's going on. And it's just like, no, just answer the question and move on.
Exactly. You answer it. As you move through your career here and, interact more with your clients, you're going to recognize easier what is just simply a question and what is an objection. Don't turn a simple yes or no into a discussion. You don't necessarily need that. Anybody else have an aha? A couple more. All right, hold on. All right, let's keep rolling here. I think that's a good statement that that is something. Do you guys feel that? You feel like you need a whole story and you're afraid you're not prepared for that?
I do not.
Right. Yeah, I don't. That's interesting for me to hear. I'll keep that as a thought, and as we move forward,
Honestly, I think it's more important to just be honest. Like if you don't know the answer to the question,
oh my God, yes,
right? I don't know the answer, but I have 4,000 agents in my back pocket, and I can guarantee you one of them knows the answer. So it might take me a little bit of time to get it back to you, but guaranteed at the end of the day, I'm going to have that information for you because you're what's most important. An informed client is a well-prepared client.
Absolutely. That is fantastic. And I'm so happy that you said that, because at the end of the day, you cannot know everything. Everybody in your building is learning something new every day. I don't care how young or old they are. And that is a very powerful statement. And talk about building trust. When you say, I don't really know that, that's a good, you know what? Let me double check on that. I'll follow up. I'll take that back to the team, however you want to say it. I'll take that back to the team, and then I'll get right back to you this afternoon. Hopefully, very likely, guys, you will know the answer. Just to let you know. So let's talk about the E to P. Has anybody ever heard of something called E to P?
I just saw it yesterday in the booklet. I was looking over it a little bit.
Yeah. Do you know kind of what it means?
I didn't really fully grasp it. I think it kind of like E is, if I remember correctly, said E is entrepreneurial, and they have a ceiling, pretty much was the gist of it, in the entrepreneurial mind frame, and they go through dips, and then they just come back up to where that ceiling is, and then they stop there, and then they go through the process. Where the P, pardon me, I don't remember what it meant, but that line broke right through the ceiling and just kept on going.
Right. So it means it's part of the 6 personal perspectives, which is a series, so to speak, that Keller Williams has. They're all business things. It's not special, to real estate. It's just in general. It means a lot of people come from what is called an entrepreneurial philosophy. And they have an idea, and it's all great, and but it's just a great idea. And then until you start putting some focus into it, putting together a model and a system, you're never going to get to what is called purposeful. So to really drill it down in very simple terms, when you were a kid, did you ever do a lemonade stand? Right? Everybody, hey, let's get a lemonade stand going. It's going to be busy. It's going to be nice out tomorrow. Let's do a lemonade stand. That's an entrepreneurial, thinking. That's an entrepreneurial mind. And okay, it's Saturday. Well, they didn't do it, so they're going to do it next Saturday, right? Until you focus and put a plan together, you need a table. You need a couple chairs, you need a couple signs, you need a buddy, you might need to get some money from somebody to get this thing going. You need ice and cups. And now we're working entrepreneur. Now we've got to focus. Now we've got our model going, okay, right? And we're going to have a system in place. What time do we open? What time do we close? And then you, in your system, is how did we do? We had 4,000 cups. We didn't need that many. We had one little tray of ice. That wasn't enough. So what you're doing here is what we want you to do in real estate is become purposeful, right? So everything starts from that consultation, that first phone call with someone, to walking in their house, sitting down with them, presenting your market analysis, you're doing your listing presentation, and before you know it, you are having a listing, right? Does everybody get that E to P thing? Has anybody experienced that themselves? Having an idea and not really going there with it?
I try to follow through on all my ideas. They don't always work out, but
absolutely. Right, but at least you're following through, and you're on the path. So pre-listing packet goals. So Roger can speak to this too. So a pre-sell builds the seller's confidence, answers their questions and objections before your presentation. That's why I was wondering, Roger, if you had that in there. Save time, make the consultation experience smoother and or shorter by tackling common obstacles, and state your value. Tell the seller what you bring to the table, right? You
might want to go forward one slide. You're on the E&P slide.
Is it there?
There we go.
Yep.
Pre-listing packet criteria.
You got it. Right? Yep.
Okay, so in the pre-listing package, right, they're designed to build the seller's confidence in you and to answer some of those questions, saves you time, and states your value. We want to make sure that we're telling the seller what you bring to the table, and to them and within the transaction. Sellers have specific goals they intend to achieve, and this is a crucial step in discovering their goals and telling them how you will help them achieve them, right? So let's see, will you review, okay, pre-listing packet criteria. Will you tell us what you will review in the listing presentation? Does it eliminate the need for a listing consultation? Is it a primer for educating you and will provide at the listing consultation, right? So let's make sure we put it together. Now let's see, can you guys see the next slide?
Yes.
All right, pre-listing package. Now, this is kind of what you want, when you're in your market center, this is right out of design. Ashley, do you work with anybody on pre-listing? Ashley is our market center tech trainer. Are you doing any pre-listing packages with anybody?
Yes, yeah, I use the ones that are in designs in command.
Okay, and you like them?
Yeah, I like how they're already like all set up, so you don't have to like think about what to put in there. You just kind of go in and customize it with your branding.
Right. So I don't know, in your package, the package that what do you call this, your booklet. So there are 10 things you want to include in your pre-listing package. You want a cover page, which is, obviously what we're seeing here. You want your contact information, the promise to the seller. What is your sort of mission? The selling process overview, general pricing information, your value proposition, any broker office personal metrics. If you haven't sold 1 million houses, you can use your office metrics. How many millions of dollars has your office sold in the last 3 months or 6 months or 3 years, however you want to work it. Client testimonials, if you don't have any, maybe, you just don't have that one in there. And some previous listings. You can certainly show some listings of other people's in the office, and you just certainly say, look at, this is a great example of the variety of listings my office has. You can have little package that shows that your office covers all aspects of homes. And if you want to pull in any of this Keller mortgage stuff or any of those kind of things, you can always put that in there as well, and so I would suggest going to your whoever you have at your market center, tech trainer, or just somebody, and get into command and find this. It's in designs, right, Ashley?
Yes, and I can't see it on the slide. I don't know if we're on the seller consultation preparation checklist. I didn't know if you were trying to show.
I don't know why, but I'm behind the thing here as I'm seller consultation. So what you want, yeah. So do you see this slide? It just shows, it says client name and it's the cover. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
The photos.
See it now. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry. So that's what I'm talking about. Get your pre-listing package organized and have it, kind of a little generic. Don't have it too specific, because you just want to have, be able to print it out and get it going, So if you see this, so consultation preparation checklist, you guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you get your pre-listing package. You're going to confirm your appointment date and time and location of where you're going to meet. You also want to make sure that all the decision makers are in attendance when you're doing a seller consultation. You want to complete and practice your listing presentation, which typically includes a market analysis. That's another, have you guys done the market analysis kind of class yet? Have you done them in your market center, like a CMA class?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, part of your listing presentation or your seller consultation, however you want to call it, is you should have some sense of the value of the home. You need some sort of a snapshot of the day or the month of what's happening in the market right now. It's very, very good to have some stats. That's not in the pre-listing package. That you want that with you when you're having your appointment. And always arrive to always arrive to the listing presentation in a professional manner. And what time is on time?
The time.
Early.
Yep. So there's a rule in real estate: 10 minutes early is on time is late, and late is don't go, don't bother. Did anybody ever hear that one?
No.
You hear that in the military.
Yeah.
So
Can
do
confirm.
that with your listing appointments. Make sure that you arrive early. There's another tip, Roger. Do you deliver your pre-listing package? Do you mail it? What do you do? What's your process?
So depending on the means, sometimes I'll email it, sometimes I'll hand deliver it, and sometimes obviously you can stick it in the mail. Obviously, for timing wise, logistics, if you can get it in the mail and get it to their house, that's great because it's a physical copy sitting on the counter. That's probably the best. But otherwise, email it if it's a time constriction there.
Okay. Anybody else have any other? I have a thought on the pre-listing package and how you might deliver it. Anybody else have know of other agents in their office, or anybody have any cute ideas about that?
I use both technique. I send the first package tells you what are, so they can it's kind of like a checklist, and more it's an education kind of package. And I send that prior to my showing. And then my second package is where I go through the comps in the area, what's selling, what's sold. And practically what I have is two different sections, which is a wish list in reality. And then I make my presentation based on those two, reality and wish list.
All right, so I'm going to go off video because I guess that's not working. That's good, Roland. I like to hear that. That sounds like a great plan. How am I doing with sound? Ashley, how am I doing with sound?
The sound is better when you have your video off.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right, good. So I apologize, guys. All right. So the other thing about pre-listing packages, there's a great idea of this one where you have somebody deliver your package. Like not you're too busy. You're a very busy agent. You don't, but you have a runner or your friend of yours that just goes over in a professional manner with your package that says, hey, I'm here with, I work with, Deb Hayes. She's running around today. I wanted to make sure that I hand delivered your, she asked me to hand deliver your pre-listing package. And then, I know you guys are meeting on tomorrow afternoon and you're going to love her, whatever. You can do that. You can have your grandpa, some people get really deep with this and they make a cute basket. Just say they know that they have a dog. They'll put some goodie treats in a little basket with the package. Here you go. You'll see Deb tomorrow at 2:00. Or if they have kids and they have a pool, get some of those little goggly things or noodles or whatever. So you can make that a real statement, by the way, that pre-listing package, if you choose to do so. What do you got? What do you think about that? Does that sound kind of interesting?
I love that idea because the simple fact is that may be the differential between you and somebody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, there's a whole course actually on pre-listing presentations. I mean, maybe a little baskets is too cutesy for some people, but maybe you upgrade your pre-listing package, make it a nice booklet that they get that you take with you when you leave and put it in a nice, really nice, a nice package that it's delivered, and then when you leave, you take that with you, and then it goes to the next person. You have 2 or 3 of them, just, like nice ones. So that's something to think about, guys. I don't spend forever on it, but it's definitely something to think about. So let's talk about the listing appointment itself, right? Now I'm on Getty signed listing agreement 1, 2, 3. Are you guys on that same page?
Yes.
Okay. So first thing we want to do, so the purpose of a listing presentation is to get the seller to list with you. You achieve that by doing 3 things. You want to create a great impression to build the seller's confidence in you as a real estate agent of choice. We already planted that seed. We planted that seed with our phone discussion. We've planted that seed with our, our pre-listing little package, however we want to deliver it, much more personal than, everything now is email and text messages. How about we do something and hand deliver it to somebody? That would be fantastic. We're going to share your price recommendations, the initial list price for their property, and your reasoning behind it. So, that's what we were talking about a little bit. Have a little bit of a sense of how much you feel like the house is worth. Now, it's likely you have not been in the home. And in our office here, we do a lot of practicing on CMAs on houses that we've never been in. And you have to do it. You have to kind of get a, handle. You have to believe in the price. And, you have to have some sense, because if you get to a listing appointment and they say, you know what, I love you, let's sign it up. How much do you think my house is worth? You have to, if you're worth your salt, you have to know, what it's worth, right? And then you're going to set expectations of how you will market the home and work with sellers, right?
I was wondering, after you're done doing a CMA, is there, because I went to do a little CMA thingy yesterday in the office, and it's good just doing it, but is there like a way to give it? Like, is there like a pamphlet after you're done doing the CMA to give or show, or it's just like, oh, well, your house is worth 700 or whatever, and then you just think, oh, it's worth 700. Is there like a way to present it? I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yes, absolutely. Where is your market center? What, are you in Massachusetts?
Boston Metro.
Boston. So I don't know, most MLS systems have some sort of a CMA program where you can put together a presentation and you can print it. Our MLS, are you in Pinergy down there in Boston?
Yes, we are.
All right, well, there's your thing. It's right in there. It's the Cloud CMA.
So if I go to the Cloud CMA, I could take a snapshot or take a picture of that and send it? Is that what you're trying to say?
Nope. And this is another whole class entirely, but talk to your market center and find out somebody in there that works. What you do your search in MLS and you choose all of the comparable properties and you move it over to the Cloud CMA. Now, like anything, and we won't go off topic too much, but just for this quick, in the Cloud CMA program, you have to set your profile up. You have to upload your photo, and you want to make sure you have your office logo, because it's a presentation. You want it to look pretty. So
right.
Get yourself set up with that in your own office. And once you have all that profile stuff and it's all looking good, then all you do is you do a search, not in the cloud, but in your regular searching. You pick out your comps and you keep them, and then you just move them
to the CMA.
Yeah, you just add it over there and it populates a very nice looking presentation.
And then that's what you send to them?
No, you don't send it to them. You print it and bring it with you.
Okay, I see. Okay.
I mean, that's how I would do it. Roger, anybody else? What do you do?
Yeah, so I think she's conflating the two, the pre-listing packet.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So the pre-listing packet goes ahead of time, and that's what we drop off ahead of time. And then you go in with your listing presentation, if you will. And that's kind of, if you think in 2 sections, one's going to be all going through your needs assessment, asking a bunch of questions, drilling down on their motivation a little more. The next one will probably be the marketing and the staging, what you're going to do for that in that respects. And then finally, you're going to go into, after you've got them through that, and they have an understanding, then you're going to present a CMA. And that's done. If you go to your MLS Pinergy tools, there's a couple of different ways to do it. You can go to do a CMA the old school way, or you can go to what Deb's referring to as Cloud CMA. And I believe there's one in there that costs like $10, but it's $10 just to do as many CMAs as you want. But you could talk to somebody in your market center. They can certainly show you around that if you haven't seen it already.
Great, thank you.
Does that make sense? Yeah, thank you, Roger, for clarifying that. Yes, you want to have a nice pre-listing, but you absolutely positively want to come with some sort of a CMA and bring it with you. I certainly never send them ahead of time. Then why do they need you to come over? The point is to go over, right? And, you know, this is part of, you know, making a great impression. All right. How the listing presentation meets sellers' needs and wants. Can you see that?
You can see the words, but we can't see the graphic to the left.
How the listing, what do you mean? Do you see the guy and the lady?
Yep. This I'm just seeing a square box, but I can see the words on the right, how to list the presentation.
I don't understand why it's not looking the same as me.
It might be just taking time to load up or something.
Okay. So I don't know. There is so Ashley, maybe you could help, or Colleen. What they're talking about here is, let me just see. Yeah. So we have something in the designs that has the listing presentation already prepared. And I don't know the gal's name who asked about that. This is how we do our seller consultation. And it's, you know, Colleen, could you pull it out of command or Ashley and do a little screen share, and we can kind of look at what it looks like and how we can go through each section? Is that something you could do? Or we could take a break and come back. And does anybody want to take a break?
I have a question before we break, and someone just put it in the comment. I had my hand up, but I guess you didn't see it. Hi, I'm Valerie. Whitley had a question about the CMA. I just want to know, I've used RPR in the past.
Yeah.
And it's just something to bring. So it's short, and I just want to know your take on it. What I basically say is, well, this is what public record says your house might be worth. No, I just pulled this, it's public record. It's just sort of to give you a sense. But once we go through the house, we'll be able to come up with a better number. So Whitley, if you don't have anything and you're not really sure how to do a CMA yet, I would just go to, it's under tools in Finergy. You sign up and you can just put the address in and it gives you.
That's what I've been doing.
Okay. So
yeah, I've just been going through the cloud CMA and I put the property address on it, and then it just comes up with a bunch of comps or a bunch of addresses of that's what's been sold. And then, but I just don't know how to present it, because a lot of what I'm finding is like a lot of my clients, they're like, yeah, well, you know, I don't need you coming in. I don't want to set up an appointment. But I would love to know how much it's worth. And I feel like, you know, I'm like, should I just be like, oh yeah, well, average around your neighborhood is around this price, and then high is this.
Let me jump in there and help you out there for a minute. So if you think about it, that's kind of an objection, if you will, right? So I can appreciate their time. They need, they want to save time. They just kind of want to know a number. And as a professional, you might want to say something to the effect of this, I can appreciate that. Is time the only thing restricting you here? Is that you just don't want to sit down and take the time? And they go, well, yeah, that's cool. Well, listen, that's understandable. Again, I tell you what, this is a huge question. I can't give you an honest, good number. I can give you, if you wanted to go on Zillow, or I can send you a few comps, but that would be me doing you a disservice. This is an important question, and you want to know a good idea. And the only way I'm going to know that is if I come over and see the house and kind of get the lay of the land, see the condition of it, of course, the floor plan, and things of that nature.
So a lot of the people that I've been talking to are like, okay, for this one example, this guy is like, they're considering selling, but they don't know if they're going to be selling yet. They want to know how much it's worth, but they're thinking about moving to New York, and they don't know what they're going to try to do. They live in Newton and they're trying to figure out if it's better to move to New York. They have a condo. So he was just like, if I can know a little bit how much it's worth, that'll be great. Another one, the condo was not vacant, so it's occupied. He didn't want to disrupt the tenant, and they didn't know if they wanted to sell yet. They're thinking about it, but they don't know, and they didn't want to disrupt the tenant. So it's like always like these little things where they're like, well, I don't know if I want to sell, but if I know how much it is, and I want of like another reason why I try to do it a quick, and I always tell them in the email, like, this is just a rough estimate. It's nothing that is for sure, because I haven't gone through the property yet, and I would give you a better estimate if I go on the unit or in the property and kind of, give you a better assessment. And so this is really, really a rough estimate. I don't know how much, if you've done any type of, changes or any updates or anything like that. So this is really like a rough. I really do say that in the email. So, but my problem, I feel like I'm not, I just kind of do that CMA on cloud, and I just, give them like a range, just to, either get their email to be like, oh, I'm sending you something of value, and this is like a rough estimate, or, just to show them that I, to put them on my command to try to do that drip campaign with them, so they could see that I have some kind of value that I'm contributing. So that's kind of like why I do that quick, like overall, but I don't even think if that was, I just wanted to know if like there's a better way to present it, as opposed to be like, oh, by the way, this is what I'm finding out. These are some rough numbers,
So you could do it through Zoom, just like we're doing it here, and share it, And you also ask them if they would just kind of take some pictures of the interior so you can see it and kind of get a flow of that. Use FaceTime or something to that effect, because you're adding some value to it, at least there.
To me, a little bit, it's speaking to motivation of these sellers. Are they just looking for something quick and easy? Then they should just go on Zillow. You're a real estate agent. Your job is to tell them truly what it's worth. So I want to make sure that you're getting. The goal of this is to get into an appointment. So why don't we do this? Why don't we take a 10-minute break? Come back about 10. Would that be okay? I'm going to see if I can problem solve my side here, and we'll go through it and start talking about how we win with the sellers and go through the listing presentation and go through the house. So we want to talk about that, and it needs to be working. So I might come off and come back, whatever. So I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay. See you at 10:10.
Thanks.
Jason, take a look at your email.
You're not getting any of my messages, are you? So I just got it in there. Thank you so much.
I have a terrible connection with you guys this morning.
Not just you, Roland. I mean, I think for everybody, it's been breaking up. I was noticing in between it would break up, come back, delay. So don't take it personal, Roland.
Good morning, Ellen.
Good morning. Hi, Jason.
Good morning, Ellen.
Good morning.
That's
Roland,
back east.
Roland, I got all your emails, and you're not getting mine back in return. But I got your packets. Thank you.
Yeah, that's part of it. I'm going to send you the one. I'm going to send you the other one, which is the buyer's presentation. I just got to cut it up because it's too big for me to send it all at once.
Are those templates in Command? Are those from Command?
Yes, but I just show you what I normally, that the package I send you, that's my first package that I send prior to my appointment.
Awesome. Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Then you can modify it to yourself, and practically is saying how good you are. That's how wonderful you are and how great your company is to, that kind of thing. And then I didn't include the last one. It's a note for them to take notes on that package. And if they have any questions, and so what I put on the last page, actually not the last page, the page before the last, if you have any questions, please write it down and that kind of thing. And then I have bullet points where, I said, just bullet points with a place where they can write, if they have any questions. And then I send that before, and I had a lot of compliments on it. So And I have, if I pre-qualify one person to go and do the presentation, I have a 99% success rate.
With getting the listing?
Yeah. But I pre-qualify them pre-qualify them before I even show up.
What do you mean? I understand pre-qualification, but tell me about your methods.
Well, first of all, I ask them a lot of questions. So how motivated are they to sell? Questions that I didn't come up with this. This is just a script, pretty much. Well, we had a script out here and that, and which included what's your motivation? How soon do you need to sell the house to buy the other one? You know, I go through all those different questions, and at the end, I ask them, what do you expect to sell your house for? And so I get all that information up front. What happened if it doesn't sell? Are you willing to lower down your expectations? You know, and how much? You know, so I try to get the bottom line.
So it sounds like you really set up the expectation before you go out there, that you almost 99% of you in your head already know they want to do this, they want to do it for this.
Right. And when I do my second presentation, I tell them that I'm here to help you. And we're going to determine if I'm going to take the listing. Are you going to hire me? Or, you know, and then I have an, I see it right off the top of my head, and see if we're a match. So my second presentation, I do that at the beginning. And then, you know, and then I just go through my, you know, my presentation.
I sent you my email. Ask you to share, please. Please share.
I share with you. I'll forward to you. I'll forward to you. Send me your email.
I put it in the chat for you.
Yeah, and I'll copy it and I'll email it to you now that I have it packaged and ready to go.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's in command. It's not something that I made up or something
What
like
are you
that.
guys sharing over here? I want some whatever juice you guys are sharing. What's
his buyer presentation? I was talking to Jason about his buyer presentation and his seller and kind of his interview process of what he does before he goes out. You know, I'm brand new, so I know you've been in the business for a while. We both have the finance background part of it.
Nice. Okay.
Good, but I like the way he, you know, kind of presented it. So I would love to see what you have. I'm brand new at real estate, even though I've been all on the other side over 25 years. So all that other stuff. And then, so the biggest thing for me is separating myself from the finance.
Right. Okay.
You know, I could do the loan myself, actually, you know, he can fix it. I can do that. But now, you know, stay on this side of the road. So.
But you could get a lot of them, like you were saying before, on that design on command, right?
Yeah, a lot of those are set up on this, you know, our command, like he said, because I've played with it. I haven't had a listing yet. Saying I'm brand new. I've helped with listings.
I haven't done either, or I'm pretty new myself, so I hear you.
Well, I got buyers. And so I do a buyer CMA as well. Because before we go out in the showing, I kind of do it myself. I don't present it to them, but I have an idea of what, you know, we're going to go in here with an offer. I already know in my head before we walk in here, kind of what I'm thinking. Want to listen to my client as well. And then we got to really look at the place and see if it's matching up. So I found that very helpful to go in there with that. at least for myself.
Cool beans, cool beans.
Yeah.
Just eavesdropping. Anyway, I'll let you guys be.
That's okay. That's what we're supposed to do. We're here to we're helping each other. I like we have a few of us that really just kind of help each other and ask questions, and everyone's willing to answer. You know, Roland, you let us pick your brain. I appreciate that. Jason, you too. I've been watching you.
What I do? Uh-oh. You caught me.
Yep, see. Right, Whitley, we watching. We see.
Actually, I used some of the Jason stuff from yesterday or the day before about doing videos and singing happy birthday. I already sent it to three of my clients, and I had a great response back. So it works.
They're going to crack up or they're going to cry, one of the two, but either way, you're going to get a reaction.
Yeah,
And-
that's
and
so far I had a lot of comments on it. So, yeah.
I expect that people will steal that and start sharing it as their own, but it's okay. I don't mind. As long as we get the results from it that we're expecting to get, that's what it's all about. I'm sure that's why we're all here.
Actually, you know what? It's so different. Nobody does that. Like you said, nobody does that. And I can't sing worth of anything, you know, but it was great. And then actually I added a cupcake and I put a little candle on it.
I'd recommend, because I'm that crazy person that does this kind of stuff, get a birthday hat, like a triangle dunce cap on your head, and a noisemaker, and do it. I mean, people will remember and they'll share it with their friends.
I had a cupcake and I put a candle on it and I light it up and I sang
Here's the deal. People want different and they want crazy and they want weird because it's fun. That's why we watch TV.
We like entertainment. You are absolutely right. Yes.
People get bored because most people are boring. A lot of people are boring. Do something different. Everybody's doing the same thing, trying to copy everybody else because it's because they think it's working. If you are the one that stands out, it will stick and it'll reverberate. And they'll tell their friends. And you know what? The truth is that, like I said, we all want something new and different. But it's, just kind of thinking outside the box. What do you happy anniversary, a text message, a video message. Hey,
I saw an agent on her YouTube channel where she did a video for Christmas. She sent out a video to everybody of her sitting in her bathtub, like surrounded by candles and everything, with a glass of wine, with a Santa hat on and everything. It was like crazy funny, just outside of the box, man. And it really grabbed my eye. So I know it's grabbing a lot of people's attention out there. So I completely agree with what you're saying.
I'm doing a taco day.
Hey guys.
I think this today, actually, I'm doing a taco day. And you should see my outfit. It's green and red and a hat, one of those Irish hat or whatever that thing is, the green tall hat, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wearing that, and I'm doing a live chat with on my Facebook, inviting people to the truck.
Nice.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we hear you now, loud and clear.
Oh gosh, so exciting. So I had to switch computers and the whole thing. So hopefully we'll be back in action. I appreciate it. So I hope we don't get a lot of background noise because I'm kind of in the main room here. So fingers crossed. So you guys are chatting. Let's hear some ahas from break.
Yeah, Jason and Roland and Ellen were having a great conversation. I was kind of listening.
There's a lady in the bathtub. What was that on?
A YouTube video of Keller Williams agent that I saw. She was at, I think it was a previous Bold video or class or something that they did. It was in a big auditorium and she was just talking about it. So I went to her YouTube channel and looked it up, and boy, it's hilarious. It was really, really great. It was just like her way of saying, hey, thanks for doing business with me. Look at me, I'm crazy. I'm a little crazy, but that's fine.
Well,
it was really great.
Crazy sells. I mean, people want different. So, everything that you can do. Yeah. And we do take ourselves very seriously, but I think it's okay to think out of the box a little bit. I love it. So appreciate you all for, being patient with me, and I'm getting a new computer today. Okay. You guys okay with that? Zoom long story, we won't go into it. So let's continue on, talk about listing presentations, man. Let's get to it. So we sent our little, let me get to my screen share, right? And I think it's this one. All right. Oh, wait, hold on a sec. Let's get the presentation going here, right? All right, so first of all, this is the package. It's in your command, right? It's sort of the Q&A that you're going to talk to when you're at someone's home. You know, it's like why, you know, hold on just a second. You know, why. It's the who, what, when, where, and why. You're like, who is moving, right? What are you looking for? When do you have to go? Why are you going? So you need to get to motivation. And that's what this thing, this package that you're going to have. And then we're going to talk about actually going to the home and how do we handle the actual listing meeting, right? So you want to say this little thing to yourself. I am knowledgeable and caring and the best agent for these clients. They will appreciate my expertise and preparation and choose me to represent them as they sell their home. So you have expertise, you're coming prepared, and they're going to want you to list their property, right? This is why it's important to establish yourself as a professional so that when you go to someone's home, you are indeed the one that they're going to choose, right? So let's make sure we're keeping that in mind, that particular piece. So can everybody see this, the orange screen and what I just said?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure we're on the right page here. A little bit. All right, so so tell me some more of those ahas from break. One more, give me one more. That was kind of fun.
Deb, you said something a couple of times. You talked about the team, and I like to address questions before they become questions.
Okay.
So that there are no questions at the end.
Okay.
And one thing that you said is you talked about the team, and I am a newer agent, but I don't get asked the question about my tenure as an agent because I talk about, hey, you're getting a team of experts working on your behalf to sell your home. Mm-hmm. And then the commission question, when it comes up and I say 6%, like, wow, they're like, well, you're paying for this, you're paying for that, and I'm getting a team. And it kind of silences that question. Like it kind of dilutes that question. Like right. it makes my answer stand out because I've already explained the value they're getting. They really understand the value in the marketing, the value in getting me as their agent and my team of professionals working for them. And I like to address that because you've said it a number of times. They're getting a team.
They are.
I have a backing. It's not just me, it's we're going to sell your home as a team.
Absolutely. Did you say you're a single agent at your market center?
I am.
Yes, right. That's exactly right. You have most of the Keller Williams offices are huge, right? We have we have a coaching team. Are you in a coaching group at your office, Jason? Do you have a productivity coaching person?
Yeah, we did, but he quit. So we're looking for, so they're in the process of bringing on someone new. But the truth is, I have leveraged every agent that's willing to talk to me.
Absolutely, I love it.
And then I found other people that I can text or call with questions. So I kind of have a coaching network that I went out and sought and said, I see you. I want to be like you when I grow up. Can I call you if I have a problem? And so on.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to build that. You have to build your team behind you. You have your coach, you have your mentors, you have attorneys. All of these people are what you're bringing to the table to these clients. So the more you appreciate yourself, the more people are going to appreciate you. Right? So you're worth every penny of it. And there's scripts there and how to handle some of those objections as well. But thank you for that, Jason. I hope everybody takes that and puts that, internalizes that, because that's really what you have to do. That's how you have to approach it. It's a very, very good approach. All right, let's continue here. All right, so we're kind of jumping into command a little bit, but it's just to show you where you're at, The listing presentation is where you show off your hard work and research and get the listing. You know, in addition to going through the listing presentation, you'll preview. We want to now start talking about previewing the home, right? So the listing walkthrough. Who here has done already a listing walkthrough? Anyone? See if I can see this, you guys, better. Anybody done a listing presentation or walkthrough?
I've done a walkthrough with another agent, a top agent, so I was able to go with her.
That's awesome. And as Jason has mentioned, and I bet you have, you find somebody and see if they'll let you shadow either a walkthrough or a presentation. You know, if you have a senior agent in your office, say, hey, can I come and just shadow? And that senior agent can certainly, particularly if it's a listing and someone they've worked with 10 times, they could say, hey, you know, I've got a great new agent in my office. Her name is Ellen. She really wants to learn. Would you mind if she comes and shadows? So a senior agent, you know, unless they're in super competition, there's tons of other, you know, if this is a listing that she's going to go do with somebody that he or she knows. So I would suggest all of you in the room, reach out to somebody, maybe your ALC, somebody that might actually take you on a listing presentation. I think that would be really, really helpful. So let's kind of go through a little bit of that. Like, what does that consist of? Again, the best thing, you know, obviously we've sent our pre-listing presentation. We've put together what I think is a pretty good assessment of what I think the house is worth, right? Like, you don't need to stay away all day. So as I said, you want to get a little sense. You can look up the home on, it's the first thing you want to do when you get a listing call and you do all of your work. You want to come prepared with what you think the house might be worth, right? So you're going to go into history and you're going to look up and see what it may be sold for, how long ago. You can ask the folks, how long have you been there? If they've been there 50 years, it's not going to probably be in MLS. What improvements have they done on the property? Your general listing questions that are in the package in command. So what you want to do, you want to go into MLS. Maybe you can find the listing when they bought it 5 years ago. And if you say, hey, what have you done since you've owned the property in 5 years? If they say, oh my God, we've replaced all the hardwood floors and we have a beautiful new kitchen and the bathrooms are wonderful, then you're going to say, ooh, this is going to be nicer than what I'm looking at. Sometimes they might say, well, we replaced the toilet. Otherwise, it looks pretty much the same. You should be able to do a CMA with that information, right? Again, it's not going to be exact because you have not walked in the door. But as a professional, you want to make sure you come armed with something, right? So you go into your MLS, whether you use the cloud, whatever, you pull up some comps. You've got to know whether it's a $200,000 house or $900,000 house or $2 million house. You've got to have some sense, right? So you put that all together pretty and you put it in your package and you go to the home. So what we want to do, we're going to walk through a home. Is everybody okay with that? You might want to take some notes here. So everybody has their different presentations and how they handle it. Some people want to walk in and go, give me a tour, and we're going to walk around. A lot of people have this philosophy. They walk in, hey, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to meet you finally. I assume you got my, I know you received my pre-listing package. Why don't we sit at the table here and let's review a little bit. I've got some additional questions for you. Does that sound like a good process right there? Okay, so generally speaking, you've got to have eyes and ears in the back of your head. You're going to take some, right? You're going to take in some senses here. Does the house smell good or not? Is there 27 cats running around? Is it pristine? Is it gorgeous? Is it immaculate, right? That's going to kind of get you where are you right in this little package that you have in your bag, right? You're going to sit down, you're going to do some basic questions. So, tell me a little bit more about where you're going. Always start at the end. Where do you want to go, right? This listing presentation is about them. This is not about you and how great you are. Any questions on that piece? Thoughts on that? Just in the beginning, does that sound like a good process? Okay, I thought somebody had their hand up, but I guess not. So you walk in, you sit down, and again, you're prepared, and if they're going to offer you something, take it. If somebody offers you tea, take it. Because they ran around and they bought some new stuff and they got their nice stuff. So do that, because you know they may have done that, and you want them to feel that they're in you're in their home, and they're welcoming you. That's a very good sign. It means they're taking this meeting seriously, right?
I was told act like you're on a first date.
Oh,
right?
interesting.
It's proper, and way you want to present yourself, act like you're on a first date with
That's
somebody.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of cute. I like that, Chris. So yeah, so now you're in charge of this meeting, unlike first date, right? You're gonna run the meeting a little, and sometimes they will ask, "What do we do? Do we walk around? What do we do?" And that's now you're going to direct it. We're going to sit at the table. I've got some questions for you. Tell me a little bit. I love your house. I want to walk through, but tell me what your plans are. Where are you going, and why, and when? And okay, we want to move to Boca, wherever they want to go. You're going to get them there. You want to start visualizing them where they want to go, because that's going to really be your job. And when do you want to do it? And then now we're in the Q&A period, right? What are the questions you think they're going to ask? Oh, Tim Lindsay's in here. You probably get a call.
Let me ask you a question, because I'm not going to drink the tea. So what's your best way to, politely apologize? I'm not going to drink the tea. I'll tell you now.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Ellen. You broke up in the beginning. Can you say that again?
Okay, so I'm not going to drink the tea. What's your best way to, gracefully? I'm not going to drink the tea. And on a date, you should never drink anything you've never seen made. So.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess you just said, geez, thanks so much. I just had 2 cups of coffee. I'm good. Thank you so much. Hey, Tim. Basin, you had your hand raised.
Yes, take it anyway and leave it on the table, but don't refuse them.
All right, let's not get right.
Yeah,
So let's.
In some places, it's a cultural thing. It's rude to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Just take it and leave it on the table. You don't have to drink it, but just don't deny them.
All right, so let's.
I like that. I like
find
that.
Your way.
Stephen and Jason. That's a good one. Take
good
it,
point.
put it down. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, great. Good question, Ellen. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah, it kind of is a good point, Anyways, so we're having our Q&A. We're going to ask, where are you going? Like, what is their motivation? We really want to, this meeting is for them. We want to get them where they want to go in the least painful manner that we can. And why are you going? We want to know why. Where are we going? Why? And then then the next question is when. So you might want to write these things down. Where are you going? Why are you going? And when? There's 2 reasons why people sell homes. Anybody know the 2 reasons?
I would think one is obviously moving. They need to move for job relocation or something like that.
Right. There's 2 reasons. Yep. So there's 2 reasons. There's good things happening in their life and bad things happening.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Right.
Yep.
And you need to figure out where we are, because unfortunately, sometimes there's problems. There's the big D's. There's divorce.
Mm-hmm.
People have passed away. We're involved in all of that part of everyone's life. So this is why you want to come from a point of strength and confidence, because you really don't know until you get there. And sometimes it's great. Oh my God, we're having twins and we need a big house, or hey, we're sick of this big giant house. We want a cute little condo somewhere, and we are out of here. So you want to get to the motivation. So where, when, why? Who is in this process? Right? We want to make sure, and it says it at the beginning of the conversation, you want to make sure both decision makers are there, right? When you're having your listing, because no, they won't be back home from work till late. Well, then we're doing it tomorrow. You have to have both people there. It's never a good idea to only meet with one, because you just can't. All right. Any questions on that?
If the decision maker, the other party, isn't there, you're already there, would you still do the walkthrough? Or would you
Well,
just cancel?
I would not go unless I knew they were there. That's the call before. That's your
Okay.
first thing. When are we meeting? I have Saturday morning, I have Thursday about 4. What works for you? Don't let them run you around. You have a calendar and you need to make sure whether it's 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Some agents I know only do their CMAs between 6 and 7 every night. It's blocked off. They don't go on the weekends. They don't go during the day. That's when they go. Right? So set that up and say, will both or all parties be there? And how do we know who owns the house? Anybody know that one? How do we find that one out?
Public records.
Public
Tax
record.
card, public record, deed.
Deed, yeah.
The deed. The deed is the most accurate piece of paper that says who owns the property. MLS could be like 6 months behind and it still and how do I say this? If on the deed, it says, how do I say this? You want to make sure that you're talking to the people that are on the deed also, right? If you get a call and it's obviously a younger sounding person and, hey, and you look at the deed and it's Ethel and Arthur and they've owned it since 1940, who is this person? We have well-meaning family members, well-meaning kids, well-meaning mom and dads and moms and all that. So you want to make sure you're dealing with the seller of the home, not to get too deep into that discussion, but pull the deed, make sure you're working with those people. You may have somebody that has passed. You might be meeting with a family member and you have to say, hey, when I come over on Thursday or before I come, can you shoot me over your power of attorney or whatever their legal document is saying that they do own the home. And sometimes it is that form hasn't even been recorded or something yet. So this is part of the discussion. When you get into that kind of thing, now we want to know the attorneys and all of that. So we're on the assumption we're going to someone's home and they own it. So we walk in, we're gonna get a full review of where they're going. And if they say, look, we want to be out of here, but we want to get into a new place for the holidays. We want the kids, we want to get out of here by the end of school. We want to be in our new place for the summer. You figure out what they want to do. And now you're getting some basic information. At the same time, you're using your senses. Can you hear the road going by? Is the house, clean? All of that. And then usually at that moment, once I get a lot of that kind of information, we start with some additional questions. What questions now are they going to start asking us?
Jen was walking me because I couldn't figure out why it wasn't finishing.
Questions that they're going to ask us.
I think one of the big ones might be, and I'm not sure whether we're qualified to tell them what improvements do they need to make or, changes, stuff like that in the house before it goes on the market. Do we advise them on that as far as staging and stuff like that? Or?
Yeah, that's a great question, Michael. Roger's shaking his head because he knows that's exactly the question. And sometimes that's the preliminary discussion that you have. Whoever the girl was that was talking about, they just want me to, I'm sorry, I apologize because I couldn't see the screen before. When you're on the phone and they want you to just shoot something over, you part of your reason of saying, I'm not going to just shoot something over. I want to give you a true evaluation of how much your home is. And you might need to make some improvements. Like Michael says, they're going to say, should we make improvements? And how do we answer that, right? It really depends on the home and what they want to do. If the house is, in really disarray and really in tough shape, how do you answer that, Roger, when they say, what do you think we should do? Do we paint? Do we redo the bathroom? What do we say?
So I generally use that as an opportunity to kind of suggest to them, well, when we decide to work together, I will have the stager come in at no cost to you, and she will give us her recommendations, or his, of course. And you can do some of them, all of them, or none of them, of course. It's always in your power, but we'll always recommend do as many as possible because after all, we're here to try to get you top dollar in the quickest period of time. And that's a great question. So what are you willing to do? And and money set aside for a budget, what would that look like?
Exactly. And depending on their timeline, do we even have time to do any of it? right? And, you know, in all of your market centers, I would ask around and see who you know, you get a great resource for a stager. It doesn't mean you're offering $10,000 worth of staging. Most stagers for $100 or $150 will go over to someone's home and do a little walkthrough and then send a 20-page thing of a million things they need to do, which you're going to prep your seller for that. To look at, that's their job. They get in, they have vision, they're artistic people. They're gonna write a big list of things you need to do. We will go over it and decide what really, usually the front page, they really write, look at, go to Home Depot, buy this lamp. I mean, some of them are that specific. Go get this light fixture, and the people just go and get one. They go online, they order it, right? So that's a very, very good tool. So make sure you all know a stager that will offer that service, but you're not getting those because you usually pay for it. And you're not doing any of that. Do you have something signed? Like Roger said, once we get everything signed, I can connect you. I will make a call to my stager. And if you want to be out of here really by Halloween, you know, or say Thanksgiving, we want to get her in here right away because she's booked out a week. And I know her time, you know, these are good closing things. Like, look at, we want to get you going. If you want to be where you want to go, that's why we want to know when. When is super important. That's how you actually, okay, if I gotta get my, if you want to be out of here by then, I need my photographer in here by next week. So we're going to have a short list of things. Let me check with him. Last time I talked, he was out about 2 weeks. So this is perfect timing. So, you know, so what other questions? So did that answer that question, Michael? Like, do we advise or don't we?
Yes, it does. Yep.
It also does depend on market conditions and market. Like if this was a year ago, there could be 5 pounds of trash in the kitchen and you had 20 offers on it, right? This is not the market condition we're in, nor are we going in. We're in a market that's much more norm, you know? So Melissa's question is, what is the house worth? Yeah, they're going to hit you up. What do you think my house is worth? And that's when you might say, you know what, let me take a walk through. You know, I've got a lot of good information here. Let me take a walk through, right? And also in your market center, see if you can get a crew to go walk through a vacant home and have somebody point things out. Find your coach or find somebody in ALC to, you know, locate a home and have you guys walk through the, like Ellen was sort of nervous, you know, you can go walk through a home first. And so at least kind of note some questions. What kind of heat? This is where you're making your own notes on your iPad or your notebook or whatever you're going to do. I'm old school. I just bring a notebook with me. I actually like a clipboard and I walk around. Oh, okay. How old's the kitchen? And oh, I love the sink. Because, and then you make notes because when you have to enter it all in MLS, you're going to forget everything that you walked around and saw, right? So you're walking through the house, you're walking through the kitchen. You're going to ask, you know, are you taking your refrigerator? Are you leaving it? You know, you want to get some real specifics. I'm like the, what is it? Assumptive close. I'm just going there assuming I'm listing the house. That's just what you should do. Okay, when we put it on MLS, you know, I want to make sure that I include or exclude that refrigerator, you know. And then as you're walking through the home, you're making comment or in your head of things, you're making notes in code, maybe on your clipboard, right? And Roger, you're shaking your head. How do you walk? Or what do you do when you have to step over, like, you know?
So I always check your facial expressions and go in prepared to see the worst, so to speak. In some cases you can tell, right? And when you're walking around, keep in mind as well that you're asking the seller, you know, so what do you guys love about the property, so that you can take notes of what they may think might be a key point. And of course, then you can also obviously use that information in your remarks, and you can obviously use that to look for potential objections as well. You know, if they're of the mind that, oh, everything's great, I love these colors in here, and you're looking at going, oh my God, the colors are off, you know, that sensitivity chip has to go off in your head. And you're keeping that in mind, because that's going to be a staging consultation conversation.
Right. That's not for now.
Stager come in and be the bad guy, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't yet. They won't sign anything if you pick on their house because they think it's gorgeous. They think the carpets are new and they're really 30 years old.
Right.
You know, that's the other thing. Jason, you have a question?
I'd love to hear from you and Roger on this. So I was walking by a property and I saw a lady cutting her hedges and I stopped to talk to her. Come to find she wants to sell her house. And the first thing I see is like a roof shingle hanging off, like hanging and then I noticed a window that's like, oh my gosh, that's got to be replaced. And she asked me, do you think I have to fix my house up before I sell it? And I'm looking at this house, I'm like, it's clearly there's some areas of disrepair, and we know. But what would you say? And like, who would you say, obviously, and we had a conversation about her plans, her motivations to move, and I was able to extract that.
So give us more information about her motivation. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, where's she going? What's her plan? Why is she?
So she's her family is traveling down from New York on rotation to take care of her. She's living in a house by herself. She's up in age and she wants to move closer to her family.
Right.
And there's more, but that's the gist of it. So she's looking to move by spring.
Nope.
And her one of her deterrents was like she's like had like an antique business and she has a garage full of stuff. And I talked to her about leverage, like she needs to declutter, right? So I asked her, I said, so what if you could leverage some of your equity to help you move that process along a little quicker? Would that be of interest to you? And she was like, yeah, what is that? What do you mean by that? I'm like, well, we should sit down and talk.
Right. I'll let Roger answer that, but I just want to be one thing about that, Jason. Leverage. Remember, our fancy words don't always resonate to the general public, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's remember, do you know what I mean, Roger? Like, let's make sure we're speaking in their language, but good for you for going over and saying hi, and you're going to get yourself a listing. Absolutely. So awesome. So how do we handle that? I mean, what do you think, Roger? Maybe we put it out to the group. What do you think? Let's start with Roger. What are your thoughts?
First of all, impressive, right? He's actually walking up to somebody, sensing something, and you can see situations like that develop. Having said that, using that intuitive sense that you have, right? You knew something and you looked around, you looked up, you didn't, here's what I would say to somebody like that, evaluating the situation. That's why I asked, tell me more about her, Now I can portray my response. So Mrs. Seller or potential Mrs. Seller, tell me more about your motivation. You've got down in 30 to that, what's your goal here? When do you want to move? All this is going on. Mrs. Seller, you mentioned that you're not sure what to do. And this is a great reason why we should get together. And I'd love to get together with you and your family, of course, being sensitive to that, if they're available, that we can sit down and I can go over a point-by-point plan of what I would do to get
let's put a plan. Let's put a plan.
Yep. And go from there. Having said that, of course, there's going to be means, there's going to be a budget, economics, right? And that's part of the whole process. So why don't we get together next Tuesday or Thursday, or I can follow up with you. I just need your phone number and I can follow up with you. And we can set a good time where you, me, maybe one of your kids, that's nearby can stop in and we can go over the process and we can get you started on the road and on the right track there. But with respect to everything else, we'll do whatever we need to do here. We're going to evaluate your situation.
Right. It is. It's going to be an individual situation for this woman, Jason, because, it also speaks to market conditions. Is she going to put 10 grand in to get 10 grand out? And does she have the wherewithal? And is it going to be too much for her? And if the kids are going to be freaking out because now we got to run around and fix a roof. Sometimes it's okay to just sell the house and you have a price adjustment, and that's the house is what it is. So we need to, what's going to be best. And Roger, I like your pulling in. There's somebody, the family is probably, if they're not nearby, it sounds like they're not nearby. They've taken turns coming. You need to get those guys. Let's put together a plan. I can put together what I think the house is worth. Do we tackle a couple of things? I don't know. Let's talk about it a little bit instead of standing out here. Let's make an appointment. If we have to FaceTime in the kids, I'd be happy to do that. I can do that with technology. And it's hard to know. It really is situational because she may have tons of money, can hire a million people and it's all good. But if it's not done yet already, then there's a reason it hasn't been done. And if her garage is full of antiques, that her basement probably is, the house probably is. Did you go inside her home, Jason?
No, I didn't. But interestingly enough, one of her daughters was there and came out and got in the conversation. Then she told me about like the head sister who's like oversees everything and once upon a time went through the real estate course, but she's not a realtor. And so I find out that it is a family decision, it's a group decision, and the listing presentation will include all of them. I said so, and actually I have a note in my calendar to call them today because that was a week ago because I promised. And I said, so what do you think the house is worth? What do you think you want to sell for? You have any ideas about that? And she's like, well, and I said, do you have a mortgage? It's like, yeah, I still owe 85,000. I said, okay. And so I have a pretty clear understanding of motivation, of timeframes, of drawbacks, and of decision makers.
It'll be interesting to see how they all, now we're going to walk into another whole thing. Well, how do they all get along? And does the mother want to do any of this? Or is she getting pushed to do all of this?
Well, it sounds like, so she wants this because she wants to move to New York with her family. So she's as motivated as everyone is to stop coming down here to Western Mass to see her.
Yeah, maybe in her mind, she's thinking spring. Could her house go on the market in 2 weeks and sell, and off she goes? Let's make sure she has somewhere to go. And that's going to be one of your questions when you meet with the family. Is she going to live with one of them? Is she going to a 55 plus? Is she going to something else? We need to know where she's going because likely priced correctly, her house would probably sell fairly quickly. We're still in low inventory rates, even though they're higher, they're still low. And, she could get out sooner. Why is she waiting till spring? Or is that just in her head? Somebody said spring to her.
You know what it is? And her daughter said it. It's her heart about parting with her collection of things, which we see all the time. But I also said, I have a situation right now where we sold the house as is, and we negotiated a great offer for the sellers. And the buyer said, I want it. I don't care. We just give me the thing.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm saying I wanted to make sure they knew we don't have to wait till spring. Certainly we want to help you do whatever in whatever way we can to get through your collection, and we can make some suggestions about how you can do that.
Yeah, that's
I think now is a great time, if you can do it, to list, and I'd love to help you with that.
Right. Sounds like you did everything you could, right? Does anybody else have any suggestions or comments that might help us all learn from this very good example? Very typical, very normal, very, very typical, normal example.
Roger?
Yeah, real quick.
Ellen had a question.
Yep. Who's that?
Ellen, why don't you go?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask Jason. So one of the things you said that the daughters or the kids are the one that are making the decisions. Is this in an estate or is it still under their mom's name? And then, because that might also be a concern. If someone's making a decision, once it sells, what happens? And then you also brought up already, where's mom going? Because then is she going with one of them or is she going to a facility? Where are those proceeds going after the fact? That was
the homeowner. Mom's going to live with her family. They're gonna bring her in. So they've already got that part figured out.
Awesome, and you understand that, and that's important.
All over her collection of antiquities.
Yeah, that's going to be the challenge, Roger.
That's going to be your hardest part of it because
part of that would probably be getting in.
We got two people talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Roger.
Go ahead, Roland. Start with Roland.
That's going to be your hardest part is getting rid of all the stuff because in my experience, older people like to keep everything.
Well, it's hard to know. It's definitely hard to know, but that will be a bit of a challenge. But it sounds like, Jason, you're on the right path. You're listening to everything. You're understanding. You're keeping track of it, and you're asking. It sounds like a lot of very good questions. Yeah, I think you're on the right path, and it's a great opportunity, and that's exactly what we deal with on a daily basis. People's life, their home. It's not just wood and wallpaper, and it's a living, breathing thing. This piece of property, and this is what we're doing. We're helping people with their lives, and it almost doesn't have as much to do with the house as it does with them. Valerie, you have a question.
Hi, it's okay. So at the beginning of the season, I had a buyer and a seller, same people. They saw our house, took them to see it, and they got pre-approved for the loan and all of that to buy the new house. But then they're like, well, we don't want to have 2 mortgages, so we really need to sell our house first. So I got the buyer's agreement, and basically, I got crickets. I mean, their pre-approval expired in August. We were supposed to list their house on June 14th. And it's sort of like they were willing, able, and ready. They were A's, okay, back in May. And now they're not. And I kind of don't know what I did wrong. When I did the walkthrough with them, very cluttered downstairs in the basement, and she said, I'm working on it, I'm trying to slowly get things out and this and that. And I didn't want to be too pushy, because this is their house, and they needed to be out by September because their daughter was starting the school and they wanted to be closer to school, didn't want to have to drive so far. And I was trying to be respectful and not being too pushy. I sent them an updated CMA in August to show that it's changed a little bit since May, and still crickets. So I guess, do I just let them go, or just that's my question.
All right, so they were going to buy something. They got a pre-qualification letter.
House. They even put an offer on it. Didn't get accepted because last minute they had a talk and they said, well, it's got to be contingent on us selling our house. But their pre-approval was not based on them selling their house. This was a $900,000 house, and they were going to put 20% down. This was like, oh my God, this is gold. I got a mentor to help me because I was new, and then all of a sudden.
What is the issue, guys? What do you think? Let's put a couple things in the chat, or raise your hand. What do you think is the issue? I think I know, but what do you guys think?
Maybe their motivation to sell. Maybe that changed.
Yeah, that's it. Their motivation has changed for some reason. Did they think they were going to get a whole ton of money on their house, and now they're not anymore?
I honestly think that she didn't have the ambition enough to get the stuff out of the house that she thought she had. I mean, I sent her a cleaning company and different places that she had asked in the beginning. Like, here's
why does she have to clean it all out? Why does she have to clean her house and stuff?
She had a ton of just boxes, and her whole basement was a hoarding situation, let's say,
So that doesn't get cured in one day, Roger, what are your thoughts?
That you may have just touched on it there, the hoarding. I mean, and it also goes back to Jason. Jason, an estate sale type of thing would be a good thing to research. To have that when you go in and be able to share that and leave it behind. Here, contact these people that might help you sell things. But keeping in mind, you both are touching upon it. It's called empathy, right? You got to understand where people are coming from. We get there through asking those questions and listening to the answers. And, Jason's answers are with the siblings, the kids, and the mother, some sort of connection there, and the emotional connection she's going to have, which is right. Somebody touched on that earlier with her stuff, right? We connect emotionally with our stuff, especially the older clientele. And going back to the other one where, is the woman by herself? She's got a hoarding situation. I mean, those are emotional functions there.
Okay, so then I got one more question, because this has to do with the walkthrough, and this is what we're on in the lesson. So during the walkthrough, that was just the basement. Upstairs was okay. It was just lived in. There was stuff. But their big question was, well, this one area of the carpet that's stained, should we get new carpet? And my rookie response was, well, maybe not, because the new owners are going to get a new carpet anyway. It all depends on how much you want to put in to get back at the sale. Was that correct?
Well, then what does the rest of the house look like? You know,
Yeah.
replace that clean carpet. It's kind of like a risk reward question.
Yeah.
Place this clean carpet for $1,000 and everything else now looks like it needs to be done. Did you really get anything? And your point would be correct to say, you know, it might be best to use that as a negotiation. We can get estimates for all these things and have an understanding of what it's going to cost. And then when we set our price, take those estimates and reduce that price to reflect those. And that's part of our negotiations.
Okay. And then one last thing that I saw, but I didn't say it. And as I was leaving, I'm like, I probably should have. So in the basement, there's a storm door, like there's a walkout to the backyard. And on the outside of the door is totally rusted on the bottom. If they're going to invest anything, they should probably replace that door, right?
Maybe, again, risk reward, right?
Right. That's the thing. It's very hard to know. In there's 1,000 different scenarios we can go through, kind of thing, and it's just hard to know. You have to, you know, back to sort of the walkthrough, which is a piece of our thing here. You are going to walk through and you're going to make these notes, and then after, so you go through it all. You're going to look at the oil tank. Does it look like it's ready to rust off its legs? You're going to go through the whole property, and then you're going to sit back down and have a discussion. And it's very hard to know exactly what to do and what not to do, because it's again, it's all comes back to motivation. You just don't know. You know, we can all sit and wonder, were they just overwhelmed and they can't do it? They really, really want to do it, but they can't do it. You know, so what do we do in that scenario, you know?
So definitely contact them again, or try to get back in touch, you know, and go in with a, you know, caring heart, so to speak, with empathy, and say, hey, I just wanted to reach out. I haven't heard from you. I'm hoping everything's okay. I just wanted to touch base, see where we are with respect to the sale of your home. Has something changed?
Yeah. How have you been communicating with them, Valerie?
Well, it's funny because it's actually my husband's cousin. And so over the summer, she was here at a birthday party for my granddaughter. And then just 2 weeks ago, my other daughter's having a baby, and we had a baby shower, and she was there. But it wasn't the place. I didn't want to be pushy, and I was busy running the shower. So I didn't even talk about that, because that's sort of separate. That's us business. This is us family. But it's not a cousin of mine. So it's not like I can just get up the front, hey, how you doing today? And this and that. And then, I don't know, it's just weird. I don't want to work with my sphere at this point.
You have to.
I know. All
right.
But
so you'll work through those things for sure. I'm just looking for this thing in command. Hold on.
So just real quick, Valerie, I mean, it's okay in those, I mean, I got a listing at Awake, right? It wasn't I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
The person mentioned something, and I, you know, I'm not going to press here, but somebody else said, you know, Roger sells real estate. And I very briefly said, well, hey, listen, this isn't the time or place for us to talk, but I'd love to get together and I can see what I can do to help you out. You know, can I have your phone?
Exactly. You do need to kind of work it through. So the next thing, what's going to happen, you're going to just, Valerie, just going to have to follow up with them. And yes, you will get business at baby showers and wedding showers and funerals and everywhere. And that sounds odd to say, but people are just chatting. It's life, you know, and you're not obviously going to start talking about it, but they're going to say, how's business? And you're going to say, busy. Why do you ask? Do you need something? Yeah, all right, we'll talk later. You know, don't be afraid to have those conversations. And people, it doesn't take you're in the real estate about a week before people will start always asking you about the market. So be prepared. So let me just get back to so now we're going to sit, let's talk a little bit, because what's going to happen now that people are going to want to know the process. They like you. Let me go to this little screen share here, because we're in this piece here, right? We did our, you know, we did our walkthrough, and now we're going to have to sit and we're going to have to explain to them the process, because if they haven't sold the house in the last year, they don't know the process. So let's I'm going to do a second. Hold on. I'm going to do a different screen share. I want to show you guys the listing presentation. Hold on the wrong thing. You just hang tight. I got it. Right here. All right, so I want you guys at some point to go into command. Do you see the listing your home thing? It's a PDF. Did I share the right thing? You got it? What are you guys seeing on your screen?
Your home. Listing your home.
Right, you're listing your home, okay? This is a PDF that you can get right in Designs. And I want you to have this, I want you to pull it, I want you to read it, okay? And this is what, now you've gone through the home, they're liking you, you're asking good questions, you're feeling good about it. You might say, you know what, I did put together some information on what I think the house might be, and then you start talking about price. But at some point, they're gonna wanna understand the process, right? What do we do? You know, where are we going? Like, you know, we want you, you know, they wanna know if they wanna move somewhere, what's the process? So if you go into command, you'll see these things, you know, and these are sort of those questions, you know, the who, what, when, where, and why. Why is it important to move, and how can I make this happen for you? And then in here, you might want to look, and you can edit this yourself as well. And if you're not great at that, find somebody, you know, your tech trainer, I'm sure at your office can help you with this. Get one of these made for yourself. And it's even a little checkbox that you can go over when you're talking to people. Here's our pre-listing section, right? And then we're gonna make the listing live. We're going to launch it on social media. We're going to coordinate. We're going to prepare flyers. This is the whole process, contract to close. So I want to make sure that you know that this is available for you. Somebody said in the beginning of one of the questions was they wanted to, at the end of this class, have something in their hand that they can work with. First thing, you have to make sure you know how to do a CMA and can print one up. You also need a listing presentation that you can go over and review with someone. Has anybody seen this yet in Designs? Talks about how we find buyers. Talks about your promotion. What are you going to do to promote this house? This is where they're going to sign with you, because you're explaining everything to them. Does anybody have any questions on this?
So where is this PDF available, Deb?
Yep. So for you, Lashmi, here we have it on the dashboard under the coaching section. But of course you could make your own if you want. This spinning over here. So in our office, in the coaching program, we have some things put together that are already made. They're branded to, just has a logo. But if you yourself want to plop your own name in there, you know, in your own photo, you can personalize these. This is a very, very good tool. Talks about the open house strategy, what you're going to do. You're going to place your, you know, this is how you're going to plan to get this lady's house sold, right? If, you know, oh, hey, Isabel, how are you? And open house strategies. Talk about yard signs. Are you going to do door knocking? If you're not going to, don't say you're going to. You know, are you doing professional photography? This is what you're bringing to the table. This is why they're paying you. You're not just sticking a sign out front, right? You know, and then there's you know, you've got to have a little Keller Williams promo in there about how big our company is nationally, internationally, and also your own market center. How many agents? How many seasons? You know, what is the volume? I'm sure you have team meetings every month, just like we do. There's a lot of charts and stats and market share numbers. Make sure you incorporate that in here if you want to. Also, let's make sure that your client that you're talking to is interested in 20 pages of stuff. They may not. They may just want to see you just buzz through it. You know, this lady at Jason's, this might be too much, but guarantee her kids are going to want to know this stuff, right? So you can buzz through it a little bit with someone if necessary. We talk about safety. They did incorporate some, COVID stuff in here, which we may be removing. And the bottom line is, I'm your agent. I'm going to make this happen for you. Let's talk about some listing contracts, right? And again, you can switch pictures out. And this is, now we're going to close. Now we're going to say, okay, guys, let's talk about listing contracts. Let's put me to work, right? So let me go to the other. Okay, I'm going to stop screen sharing. What are your thoughts on that piece, guys? Do you think that would be a tool that you could use that would help you? Get a thumbs up from Stephen.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. And also, just It needs to be used for everybody, whether they're family, not family, or
Everybody.
family. I didn't get a chance, but like with Valerie, one thing I would say is you mentioned that your husband's cousin, and you said it wasn't your cousin. It is your cousin, and it might come off that way. You know, you might have taken some shortcuts because that's family. So
okay, yeah.
I would try it again. So even when she came over, pull her to the side, hey, and maybe even say, you know, the property sold down the street or somewhere nearby. I can't wait to get yours sold so you can, you know, help her with that motivation. But keep in mind, she is your cousin. You guys are married, so make her feel that way. Maybe.
Good point. Thank you,
Thank
Ellen.
you,
That's
Ellen.
exactly right. You are, and she is your cousin, and you are a real estate professional. Okay, this is what you do, you know, and that's okay to talk about it in a professional manner. You know, so if you believe you're up here, then that's where everybody else will. Not up here in a bad way, you know. I mean, make sure you're feeling confident, and maybe a document like this might be helpful.
Right.
You know,
Thank
so
you.
again, you can delete some of this, you can pull out, you can do whatever you want. Mess around with it, but get one, put it together, and that's your one.
Hey, I know it's not command training, but I kind of snuck into commands while we were talking, and I'm not finding it. I went under designs, but is there like a library of designs?
I don't know. It's
All
in
right,
there.
I'll ask
Talk to
somebody
your
else.
tech person.
Yep, I'll wait till the market center. Thanks.
Right? You know, honestly, I could, it would take me time to figure it out, but go in there, get it branded to yourself, get your photos on there, make it look really nice. And it's a great tool because what you're going to do now, all right, let me make sure I get to the right screen share. Hold on.
Yeah, real
Because
quick there, Valerie, if you're in designs, go to printable versions, and then over on the left side, look for listing consultation or presentation or buyer's consultation. Then you click.
Thank you.
And there should be two options there of different.
Okay,
There's
so
a drop down.
I'm looking for printable versions. Thank you.
Printable versions.
Yeah,
Thanks,
and
Roger.
don't
I just
absolutely
have a brief
homework is-
question.
Go ahead.
You and Roger had both mentioned a photographer.
Mhm.
Now, is that something that I think Roger mentioned doing it at the walkthrough, at the initial consultation? Is that something that you recommend? Is a professional photographer to take the pictures, or are we doing it ourselves? How does that work? I don't even know.
I mean, you can do it yourself, but you know, this is a visual world we're in. You know, it's just not cutting it with our own photos unless you are
Right.
awesome at photos, but it's part of your expenses and it's part of the business. If you're in business, you know, if you're in P now, you're in the business. You had to buy some lemons, you had to buy a table, or this is part of your expenses. And I don't, Roger, you can speak to it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. If you want to start taking photography lessons and learn that whole, there's a
No,
lot
you're a real estate
there.
agent.
Editing, vision, you know, I mean, just getting them on MLS can be a struggle for some people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
you have
yeah,
the photographer, they send you the photos, you look at them, you upload them into MLS, and you're off and running. They've already lightened them up, they've used the proper camera, they've, you know.
yeah,
for example,
they can photo one. It's
Photoshop.
100% better. And find yourself 2 or 3 photographers that get recommendations from agents in your office, and you're just going to do it. Yeah, obviously you don't do anything. You have listings, paperwork signed, which we're moving to. Jason, you have a question.
I just want to throw this out to Deb and Roger. And I know we talk about the things that we pay for, like staging, photography. And I'm thinking, would it hurt to have my stager just tag along and say, hey, by the way, and just maybe let the seller know in advance, I'm bringing along a member of my team, a stager with me. I just wanted to have them kind of put eyes on your house and give some suggestions to me maybe afterward about how we can this or that or the other. Or maybe introducing them to my photographer. I know that it's worked well for me in other settings to bring along a key member of my marketing team. But what do you guys think about that? If the seller's agreeable, because certainly we wouldn't want to blindside them by bringing along an extra person that they didn't know was coming. But what do you think?
My opinion, and we'll let Roger speak to that, and then we'll go to our paperwork. They're not getting stuff from me until they sign. that's kind of my way. And you guys are all your own business. You're your own lemonade stand, your own hardware store. You do what you want to do. I want to be in command of this. I want this to be about them. And I don't want to, you know, I want to be working. I want to be in charge of this discussion, and then I know about all my team, everybody behind me. I don't know that I'd want to bring my stager with me, because that might freak somebody out, you know, and like, oh my God, this is too much. And they, you know, so what do you think, Roger? That's just me. Everybody
Well,
can do.
you know, I mean, every strategy works in some situations, so there's no right or wrong answers to these, but keep in mind, is your stager gonna want to go waste an hour and a half of their day, or the photographer an hour and a half of their day? Are they charging you for that hour and a half? All those factors are in there, and
unless somehow or other you had the conversation with them, right? And particularly with the, I don't know, I wouldn't even bring the antique person with me, because now it's going to be about that. We're talking about getting their house sold in the whole picture based on the, you know, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, you're letting them know that you have resources at the ready when we decide to work together. I will bring these resources to bear on your listing. And that's what I bring to the table at no cost to you, other than the commission and the fee, you know.
Right. Does anybody else have a quick comment on that?
Well, I have my hand raised.
Oh, sorry, Ellen.
Go ahead.
So Jason, I actually like your approach. You said from the beginning that you would let them know ahead of time. Hey, I'm going to bring my photographer with me, or just one of my team members have to be a photographer. I like the close on that one, because you're going for a listing appointment, and according to everything that we've read, this should be about a 20-minute appointment, because you pre-qualified them before you went there. So it's not a whole day of a photographer or whoever coming. This is a 20-minute appointment. So not only at the end do you get that contract signed, oh, I've got my photographer, we actually could take a couple of pictures now, and I'm ready to do a sneak peek of my listing, letting people know it's coming. But so I like the idea, and you from the beginning said you would let them know. You wouldn't just surprise them. They know you're coming. But I think the key part was that you discussed it with them ahead of time, and they know you have a team. I think it's a good presentation. I would like it.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, so you figure out what, you know, kind of you feel is best, and that's what everyone's going to do. You know, okay, so let's get back onto our thing. We've got our screen share, and we're gonna talk about the actual signing of the contracts here. Are you guys seeing today's agenda?
Yes. Yes.
I'm paranoid now. All right, so what we want to do now, we're going to start talking about, let's put me to work. Okay, I've gone through the home. I feel like your house is worth, you know, unless it's really crazy different than what you expected, you should have some sense. So let's talk about price. I feel at this, you could pull out your presentation at this moment and say, look, I feel like your house is worth $775, maybe $779. I don't want to go over $8. What are your thoughts? You know, and now you're going to have that discussion. Geez, you know, that's another whole almost class. Like, how do you discuss? You have to say what you think the house is worth. You know, based on, I'm going to stop screen share just for a second, just touch on this for a minute. They're going to want to know how much the house is worth, right? That's why they want you there. So, you know, let's figure out, we want to sell our house, and how much can we get for it? You put together your market analysis, and you go there and you say, based on these comparable properties, what has sold in the last 30 days, what's currently under contract, and what's active. We need to look at your competition. Your house is worth about $775, $789. And they say, no, the guy down the street, you know, he got $850, you know, in March. So you need to have script practice and role play to understand the wording that you have to say that says those prices were based on interest rates of 2.5%. Interest rates now are 6%. Therefore, people can't pay as much as they were. Roland, you have a question or a comment?
It's a comment. What I do with the presentations now, I pull the MLS analysis last quarter. It just came out. So in my area, it has not gone down. It just pretty much is neutral. It's neutral, but it's taking a little longer to sell. So so when I do that presentation, I just say, based on this data that is done by the Association of Realtors. So it doesn't come like I'm telling them that the house is not worth what they're thinking. I just I have the data, show them based on this is what's going on in your neighborhood.
Right. And that's something it's good, Roland. Thank you for that, because what's happening is, even if a house sold and closed yesterday, it probably went under contract 30, 45, maybe 60 days ago. And a buyer paying a certain price 60 days ago may not be what they're going to pay now. That's how tight this market is. And the closings haven't happened yet for us to see current data. And our LS, I think, is a little, takes, their reports, they don't generate as quickly as I'd like to see them. But this is a common conversation, and you should speak to your team leader or your coach or whoever you're dealing with in your classes, talking about CMA presentations. And you need to make sure that you are absolutely 100%. Somebody's talking, absolutely 100% clear on the price points, because this is going to be a problem, right? Are you seeing that already, Roger?
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge to have people, it's real hard to tell people their homes if they've seen things happen in the past, and the past people is within the last 6 months or so. But the way to deflect that is to certainly bring it to their attention. Go, 6 months ago, the interest rates were down around 3%, and now they're 6%. So cost of money is costing buyers much more. So it's got to come out of somewhere.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, these are the kind of discussions that you're going to have, and you have to be prepared and be firm and be ready and answer their questions. And then obviously you want to ask a lot of questions. Why is this important to you? And so on and so forth. The next piece of it is going over the listing contract. Now, we're in different states here, so it's difficult to go through that piece, but make sure that you in your market center know the required documents that you need. We need our mass mandatory consumer agency form. We need the exclusive listing agreement form. What else do we need? Lead paint. We're all about lead paint here in Massachusetts. Seller's disclosure, all of those forms. Do you guys all know how to fill out the forms? Do you have forms class at your market center?
Yeah, we do.
Right. So, and you could right now run, if somebody said, hey, come list my house at 4 o'clock, you could have those all filled out.
Yeah, I actually just posted my first listing to the MLS today.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Love it. List to exist, as they say. All right, so let's talk about, let's have some ahas here. We're kind of almost wrapped up, so let's have some ahas. I want to hear some things, and then I've got a couple of questions. Any ahas on listing presentations? Winning with sellers, win the seller, get the appointment.
It's not really an aha for me, but I would say one thing you want to do is, you want to treat everyone with kindness. We want to have empathy. We never know what's going on, what the situation is. And if we stay consistent in that way, no matter how confident you might think, if it's a family member, if it's a lead, because they just treat them all the same. I think it's one of the big ahas. Stay consistent. And then and anytime they tell someone about you, they get the same service.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that point. Melissa has, it's a good guy. I don't know, that was probably from the guy. And time is important to discuss. Is that your point? It's important to discuss their timing, for sure. What other ahas? And I've got some questions.
My aha was the stager. So I thought because I was a new agent, I wasn't going to be able to afford a stager. but you said it could only be $100 to $150.
Just a consultation.
And it's really, it's the stager telling them what they should do, not bringing in furniture and big hoo-ha, right?
No, it's
So,
telling, it's
good info.
advising your client, and it's the seller, the stager, but you're gonna have a conversation with them also. And you're concerned about certain things as well, but they say it, so it's not you saying it, right? Roger, you were gonna say something, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's always, certainly you can always discuss, hey, listen, decluttering, less is more type of comments, people are buying homes based on square footage. And if there's a lot of stuff in the room, that shrinks the feeling of the room. Light colors, neutral colors, as opposed to bright, sharp colors that make rooms feel smaller. Those are kind of consensual, if you will. You can certainly share those. But having that stager come in and do the working list, and the stagers are doing that. So they've tempered their language and made adjustments as they've gone that we may not be so eloquent with when we criticize a house.
Right, because they know. And remember to tell the seller, be prepared for a list that, they don't have to do it, because we've seen some sellers get very overwhelmed with the list, and we have to say, look, no, that's just her his or her recommendations. They just can't help themselves. They get into it all the way. But let's figure it out after we get going. Ellen, did you have one more comment?
Yeah, I was going to say to Valerie, and then it's another service you're providing.
Yeah, you're just
full of information. You're helping them, so it's
value
what you're doing. So don't look at it as, oh, I didn't want to make her feel. You're giving her a service. That's part of that 6%.
And that, and right, exactly right. All right, let's just get back. I want to just kind of go a little bit through this, and then because we're a little bit ahead of schedule. So let's have some feedback here. How has your thinking changed today? What ideas or mindsets were new for you guys? Thoughts? Tell me what ideas or mindset did you grabbed today?
Well, what I gathered today is ask questions, be prepared, and do your homework before you do your presentation. Those are my takeaways from today's class.
Perfect. Anybody else?
My takeaway is to make the listing presentation more about them and not about selling myself.
Yep.
Awesome.
Exactly. Thank you, Crystal. That's kind of what it is. This is their home, One more good idea or mindset that were new to you guys. Waiting for somebody to crack. That's all right. That's a coaching thing.
One thing that really set in with me was one meeting with people, ask about their families, if they have like any family members that want to join, such as like a spouse or like a kid or something, like Roger was saying.
Especially when they're elderly in the scenario that Jason explained. It's always good. And sometimes they'll help you get that.
Absolutely, because they're going to want to know that their family member is in good hands. Absolutely. So next question, what do you feel differently about today, and what was meaningful to you today? What was meaningful, and how do you guys feel differently about it?
Guide was meaningful.
Oh, good.
And I feel like that would be helpful for me, especially where I haven't done any of those yet, to have a little guide to bring with me and stay on track.
Yeah. If I could suggest one homework assignment, get those things going. There's a buyer one and a seller one. Doesn't have to be fancy. And again, understand who you're talking to and make sure if they want, that goes into that disc profiling. Do they want a long presentation, or they just want the highlights? And you have to use your instincts a bit on this one, What else? do you feel differently about? Anybody feel differently about anything?
I think today made me, I always try to come from contribution in all things anyway. And I ask lots of questions. I ask I don't think it's too many. I ask the ones I think are appropriate and more. But I really want to understand, because I know what I'm trying to get out of the deal. I want to sell as quickly as possible for the highest value, but they want the same thing, but there are other motivating factors that are driving their decisions, the where, the when. And I feel like, how can I dig in deeper, because it's a personal, emotional, enormous transaction. And I really want to make sure that I have that emotional connection, because I've done an outstanding job at truly digging into their emotional reasoning behind the move, behind the sell. And, as I'm looking at my notes, I'm thinking about, going over the presentation and understanding, where I need to, understanding where I need to really dig in, so that, I am like the no-brainer as far as who they're going to hire for listing. Like, there's no other competition when I leave that table. I have a signed agreement from the table that they're going to work with me and nobody else, because I have that connection with them, because I truly understand, and I've taken the time to understand their motivation. I've dug in deep.
Awesome. And that's perfect. And the other thing is, yes, you want the highest price and fast and all that, but you can't want it more than they do. Right. And I think you've got a great understanding, and I'm glad we brought even more to you today. Valerie, I'm still trying to find the all right, we'll get you that thing, Valerie. You'll find it. Ask your tech person, they'll find it in 5 minutes for you, right? And Dawn Brown said, be aware of all the info you should be learning from the seller at the meeting about their home, motivation, time frame, etc. It really is motivation. And I think Roger said that on the first 10 minutes of the thing. So how will your behaviors be different going forward? What actions are you going to be taking? Let's have some action items here.
More practice with the script. When you go practice, so I could make it like it's not a fake, consultation, to be more personal.
Maybe ask your neighbor, say, hey, can I come over and do a listing presentation for you? Would you mind? No, it's not gonna cost anything. I'm in a class, I'm in a training. They've asked us to do it. I'd love to just give it a try and have them do it. Hands-on practice is at the end of that. Ignite is fantastic, but hands-on is really what you want to do. And for one thing that you might action you might want to take is ask somebody if you could shadow a listing presentation with them. Talk to ALC, talk to somebody that might say, sure, you can come along and shadow, no worries. That also elevates that agent as sort of like, I'm training some people. Got a new gal in the office, and I really want to help her out, kind of thing. And that's great. So, what tools, models, or systems will you use to take actions? What are your actions, and what tools will you use?
Book presentations. Something guidelines that you can actually go through, so you don't mix it, you don't miss any steps.
Yeah.
I use a list that I go through, and I put the list in front of them, and I go, A, B, C, D, until I finish all of it.
Right.
And then if I pause sometime to see if they have any questions on what I've been asking. Those are tools that
I love that list. So we want, so I'm hearing the listing presentation package. Let's start with that. And you can always add things that you might want to ask, and also condos. But, what else? What other tools and actions? Give me 2 more. Somebody has some tools and actions here. Models.
I actually want to be able to be the person that can guide them. So sort of like at the listing appointment, I want to, like you had said, go in and sit down and get to know them And then, but part of that, I want to incorporate, well, this is the home selling process, a one sheet that says, we're here now. This is our first appointment. Here is what's going to happen next, 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 and next. So it's sort of, they have a sense as to the process. So I come off as a teacher, as well as a guide, as well as the person that's going to sell their house. So I'd like to be able to have the confidence to do that.
All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna figure out how to do this. I was gonna say, put this PDF in the chat. Ashley, is you still here? Well, you could take mine and just make your own. Or use it as a guide.
I'm still here, sorry. I had to.
Ashley, I have a PDF. How do I get that into chat so people can use the one we have and just make their own?
Oh yeah. You just have to click that little, like, you go to the chat and then you click the little document.
Yeah. Oh,
That's mine.
like, okay, hold on. I get it. I'm making it way more complicated. Google Drive. Hold on. I mean, I know how to put something in chat. I'm just saying it's a PDF in my drive. Why am I?
Oh, in Drive. Can you send it to me and then I'll add it?
Let's do that.
Okay.
All else fails. Send it in. All right. So I'm gonna put, Ashley will get that in for you, and then you can take the one I have and use that. It doesn't have my name on it. It just has the Powerhouse logo. I don't know. Or figure it out. Take a little 20 minutes with your tech person and have them put one together for you. Say, here, make me this thing, and then you'll have it. All right. So let's get back to where we were, and then we're going to do a little screen share. Anybody else have anything, just ahas, anything you want to comment, and we'll let you guys out of here in a little bit. Oh, so Ashley popped that in, I think.
So Deb, I just went into designs there.
Yeah.
You might have missed, I don't know if you went up to the top left, right corner and hit create design, and then that option comes up and it'll say print. And then it wouldn't load up for me after that. So it was a little sluggish.
All right. So she's going to grab that and do something with it and put it in, hopefully, in a minute. So let me go back to the screen share, and then we'll just make sure as we're kind of wrapping up. So, we have the old, now we've got our success system. Now you guys are doing this every day, right? Are you doing this daily success system? 10 conversations, 10 contacts added, 10 handwritten notes. Who's doing all of these things in a 100% level?
I'm not handwriting notes to anyone because I haven't listed anything, but I am doing messages, text messages, and stuff as handwritten as I'm getting. I mean, I write handwritten notes to myself. They're all over the place.
Okay. Are you adding 10? Are you having 10 conversations a day? How are we doing with conversations, guys?
10 conversations, 10 contacts, 10 likes, 10 comments, and I've already got my post this morning.
All right. Awesome. All right, I'm just waiting for Ashley to get that in. So yeah, we got to make sure that we're doing all the things we're supposed to be doing. Obviously, be careful with the do not call list, right? And we all know that everything you want in this business will happen if you're willing to have conversations. X is great, Facebook is great, it's all great. But the more conversations you have, and we'll never stop saying this, ever. So the more conversations you have, the more, that's in there, okay? Everybody grab that out of the chat, okay? Yeah, we're engaging conversations in the spirit of contribution, offering value, and being happy in your relationship with your clients. Just trying to see what else we have over here. So are you doing scripts and role play? When are people doing scripts and role plays? Do you have them in your market center? People here.
Every morning out loud. You're supposed to do it every day.
Awesome. The more you practice, let's get some homework assignments where everybody's going to try to find somebody to shadow. Okay. Let's get this listing presentation take the one that is in the chat, save it, print it, whatever, make it your own, use it, who cares, you know? And then, and remember, they don't care what you know until they know that you care, right? Has anybody ever said that? So that's important. Anybody have any final comments that they'd like to share? And I'll let you guys go. You have the rest of you got 20 minutes free time to make phone calls.
Deb, you mentioned 2 classes, the train the trainer class and the pre-listing presentation course. Are those Keller Williams offered?
So Train the Trainer is a class. Yes, absolutely. And that's very, very good. It's a 2-day class. Typically, it's very intense. It's really good. You'll love it. And the other one was, the other one is called, it's a marketing woman. It's a pre-listing presentation. It's an overall class. And that's something that I attended at Mega Camp and Family Reunion. And I, for the life of me, can't remember who it was, but I think if you search around, you'll be able to find it. It's just not like a training that we see on the calendar all the time. It was a speaker that I went to, and I thought she was cool and she had some really great ideas. She had kooky ones, and she had very professional and handsome kind of thing. So figure out what works for you. Get your pre-listing package. Again, that's in Designs. I don't have one on me to send to you, but and make it special. Have somebody get some teenager to drive over and drop it off. Give them the script and say, here's Roger, you know, I know you're meeting with Roger tomorrow. Here's his pre-listing. You'll love him. And then out he goes. You're too busy. You're way too busy for that kind of stuff. And nothing. Ooh, he must be kind of busy. He's got somebody running, you know. One person I know has literally their grandfather does it for them. It's funny, but hey, think out of the box, right, guys? All right, I'm going to let you guys go. I really apologize in the beginning for the screwy. I think it worked out well, and I might just steal this computer here. All right, we'll let you guys go. I can be reached at Deb Hayes at kw.com. I'll throw that in here if you want. Let me get me in there. Chat. So. My number is, put that in here. Okay, and let's make it happen. Connect with your coaches, your TLs, your ALCs, anything you need. We're all the same. We all have everything you need. Just ask, right? All right, let you guys go. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Deb.
Good luck, Valerie.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep us posted. Good luck, Jason, with your lady.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.